Thank you, number two. And I should maybe throw in one piece of explanation here. They're number one, number two, and number three because the names got drawn out of the hat. So doesn't be it number one or two or three doesn't have a meaning at this point. Number three, are you ready?
First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees, among other things, the freedom of speech. To many people, this right is a given, but it has come under assault recently, particularly on college campuses across the country. Some colleges go so far as to restrict free speech to certain free speech zones. The First Amendment's detractors say it is outdated and facilitates offensive speech, while its defenders maintain that it applies, and should apply, to all speech. I decided to use the four-way test to evaluate freedom of speech. Is freedom of speech the truth? Yes, it is the truth. It is reality. Freedom of speech is the law clearly stated in the First Amendment. Free speech is not only the truth, it is the source of all truth. It allows us to speak the truth and to challenge untrue statements and ideas. When we can speak freely, we're able to make sure our words match the truth, not someone else's talking points or predetermined narrative. Freedom of speech allows us to speak the truth, even when it's unpopular, without fear of retribution. So, in fact, this speech and this contest are made possible by free speech. So yes, freedom of speech is the truth. Is freedom of speech fair to all concerned? Yes, it is. The First Amendment protects all speech. All citizens are equal before the law. We all get to speak our minds. We can't pick and choose whose opinions are allowed. We can choose who to listen to and who to agree with, but we can't silence those we disagree with. People can't be arrested for disagreeing with the government's actions or going against majority opinion. In other words, we have the right to be wrong, at least in the eyes of the law. Because freedom of speech applies equally to everyone, it is fair to all concerned. Will freedom of speech build goodwill and better friendships? At first glance, the answer seems to be no. Wouldn't free speech cause people to speak a little too freely and offend those around them? Perhaps, but I believe a true friendship requires both people to be genuine. If you can't be honest with your friends, then how can you trust them? Friendships deepen over time as you come to know what your friends truly value and believe. Also, many countries that don't allow free speech, such as the former Soviet Union, have encouraged citizens to inform the government of private conversations with their friends, relatives, and neighbors in order to control thoughts and behavior. That certainly undermines trust between friends. Freedom of speech, like any other freedom, will undoubtedly be abused by some people. But I believe, in this case, that the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. We shouldn't take away everyone's rights just because a few people may abuse them. And let's not just focus on the negative things people say. We see examples all the time, in the news and in our own lives, of people using their freedom of speech to inspire others and build goodwill. We can do amazing things with our words. By and large, freedom of speech will build goodwill and better friendships. Will freedom of speech be beneficial to all concerned? Yes. Freedom of speech is crucial to our advancement as a society. We must have the freedom to think for ourselves and challenge the conventional wisdom. For example, scientists must be able to question existing theories that they believe are incorrect, instead of just going along with the prevailing opinions of the day. That scientific approach leads to innovation in the medical and technological fields. This is beneficial for all concerned because it improves people's life expectancy and standard of living. Likewise, whistleblowers must be able to expose corruption in a company or government agency without fear of retaliation. Freedom of speech is a check on tyranny and corruption by allowing ordinary citizens to voice their disapproval of their elected officials. This allows everyone to participate in the political process. It's clear that free speech is beneficial for the people doing the talking, but what about the people that are being talked about? Thankfully, their rights are protected too, We have laws against libel and slander to defend against malicious uses of free speech. So yes, freedom of speech will be beneficial for all concerned. In conclusion, freedom of speech is a good thing because it is the truth, is fair to all concerned, will build goodwill and better friendships, and will be beneficial for all concerned. Our founding fathers knew that the First Amendment was necessary to protect the rights of its citizens. Freedom of speech lets us live our lives without having to worry about being arrested for our words. It was a good idea in 1787, and it still holds true today. Thank you.